All right. The previous video actually did pretty good. So I thought I might upload another video to see if it's can either get the same amount of views or potentially more. If you like the information, don't hesitate to like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna go ahead and get straight into the article. All right. So this article was titled "Suspended in a Sunbeam." So the study of astrophysics is an extremely interesting subject in that we have yet to fully appreciate all the information that's really out there. So in this chapter, I'd like to use it as an illustration of some of the complex issues that are currently rising within geopolitical spheres, not only here in the U.S. but also around the entire world. So, astrophysics is a branch of astronomy concerned with the physical nature of stars and celestial bodies and the application of laws and theories of physics to the interpretation of astronomical observation. So, the universe is thought to be, empty and void, but as we've discovered, these phenomenal structures throughout our galaxy and others are made up of the same subatomic particles and substances that can be found throughout the human body. We are in the universe, and the universe literally is inside us, as deGrasse Tyson put it. So quarks started in the form of quantum foam during the Big Bang. That's the current theory that we have. And one of the most basic principles of astrophysics is a fundamental understanding that it is expanding at an increasing rate as studies have shown. So empirical data has also proved that there is a driving force behind how the universe operates that could help shed some light on what may be going on a multi-ethnic level between different cultural creeds. It's a really good analogy to be able to uh, understand how it's operating. So in astrophysics, entropy is defined as the thermodynamic quantity representing the unavailability of a system's thermal energy for conversion into mechanical work, often interpreted as the degree of disorder or randomness in a system, or better put, the lack of order or predictability, or a gradual decline into disorder. So we may have hit a tipping point into making sense of how other cultural groups operate due to this fundamental law in physics. We people, as in the universe, seem to desire to find what is different, what's unique, uh, not only about ourselves but also in other people, and we seek to purposefully try to create more complex diversity and unification throughout these different mediums that we've created, not only speaking on from a technological standpoint but also in other areas. So the United States is exactly that. We've been called the boiling pot of the world for a reason, and it's in my opinion that our diversity is what makes us strong. Our power comes from our ability to see what's different and divide it in and make something that creates, something awesome in the world. So, evolutionary speaking, we went from non complex single celled organisms that can only recognize borders, which is a great metaphor for our current backpedaling into more primal, more tribal. Characteristics and mentalities are more primal nature. That's currently happening on the road with the onset of nationalistic mentalities towards our policy and legislations. So we went from these organisms to multi-celled organisms that were able to cohere in a uniformed way uh, in biology, sex and survival are the driving forces behind all life. So as an adaptation, we developed emotional systems to trigger the fight or flight or freeze mechanisms. Then humans finally developed cognition systems in the human brain after metaphorically stealing fire from the gods and learning how to cook to better utilize the environment around us, which led to the increase in the brain's capacity and capability through various genetic predispositions and neurogenesis, as well as possibly encountering psychedelic mushrooms via the stoned ape hypothesis. You should definitely check that out. It's a really interesting theory. So we created stories and legends to pass down through mythopoetic lessons that still hold invaluable insight into human psychology and sociology, as well as traditions that have kept us together for centuries, if not millennia. So if we can recognize that we can't solve the problems of our day on the same level and the same mentality that those problems were created at. The only option is moving to a higher level of thought and a higher level of capacity. So based on the theory of randomness, if complexity in life moves either exponentially worse or exponentially better on a linear time continuum, It may be a warning that things can destabilize if we're not proactive about how we handle new and different people and groups throughout civilizations. So our fight has been so directed towards the ecosphere and saving the planet and making sure that the environment is, safe and sound, that we've lost touch with the ethnosphere, which, if lost, the ecosphere ceases to be important in a divided world. So this connection we have with the universe should be cherished because we very may be the neurons of the universal brain, and our actions express the consciousness of the universe that we're experiencing. So, as a cosmetologist and philosopher Carl Sagan put in his famous article, The Pale Blue Dot, I'll go ahead and read that just in case you haven't heard it. So, look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you've ever heard of, every human being who ever was lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions and ideologies and economic doctrines, every hunter, every forager, every hero, every coward, every creator and destroyer of civilizations, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, every hopeful child, inventor and explorer, and every teacher of morals, and every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. It has been said that astronomy is a humbling and character building experience. There is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known. Again, if you like the information, if you like the content, don't hesitate to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for checking us out.